YouTube. Today I'm going to show you how to dye or stain a piece of wood. In this case, I'm working on a bowl, a figured maple bowl, and I'm going to dye it using different colored stain and show you how to get that tiger stripe effect. So stick around, let's get to it. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm sorry that it has been about 3 weeks since my last video, but here we are, and I'm going to be turning this wall blank into a bowl, and I'm going to show you how I use dye and stain and how to layer it to get the tiger stripe effect. And if you were watching closely there at the beginning before I put the faceplate on, you are correct that this bowl blank at 3.5 inches by 8 inches in diameter was $31 and something cents. Wood is certainly still not cheap. But I digress about the price of wood. Moving on. Here I'm using the Carter & Son 5/8 bowl gouge and flattening the bottom and starting on that curve. Lots and lots of shavings, as you can see. Using the parting tool to start a mortise, and then back to the bowl gouge to remove some more material. And that bag that you see me moving around is a lawn and garden bag, and that's what I collect the shavings in. So I like to have it close, so some of the shavings at least fly off of the tool of the bowl and go right in there. Mostly end up picking them off the floor, but so I had first decided to use a mortise, and then I quickly changed my mind on this one and decided to do a tenon. I usually do a mortise, and this one just felt more appropriate for a tenon. A little bit of a different viewpoint there. Doing some sanding. Now, I sanded up to 150 here, as you can see, before I started using the intrinsic color collection. So don't stop watching yet if you're appalled at what I'm doing to this piece of figured maple, because I promise you it's going to get a whole lot better than this. This looks like a pre-K kindergarten painting. I will agree with you so far, but keep with me and I'll show you. So after I put a base layer of earth, which is a brown color, on there, I start sanding much of it off, and I'm left with this. And then I use denatured alcohol, not only to get rid of the dust, but it takes a little bit of the color off of the dye, and then more sandpaper. And there's not a science to this. You just have to do it until you think it's right. And you'll see as I go through this process what I mean. Next is the color ruby. Randomly putting the ruby on there. And from this vantage point anyway, the bowl looks like all of the earth color is gone, but it's not. It has darkened much, and many of those ripples in the wood. You just can't really see it on camera yet. So I know this still looks bad. I'm just plodding away, patting the paper towel on with different colors. And I'm going to continue to do that, and you'll see what I mean. But right now it looks like a pepperoni pizza. Oh gosh, now I'm hungry. More sanding. Even with the different layers on there, I still do some sanding. I do sanding with the lathe on and stationary like this. And like I said, you just have to trust yourself and keep going. More denatured alcohol. and more of the intrinsic color honey. And I'm putting that on with the lathe turned on. And then a dry paper towel to sort of burnish that. And you're starting to see some of the tiger stripes there, but it's still it's not where it's going to end up being. So keep watching. Using the air gun here to just dry it a little bit faster. Back to ruby, and with the lathe on, I use a paper towel to wipe that all over and then burnish it a little bit. And then some denatured alcohol, which from burnishing to denatured alcohol I know sounds counterintuitive. They do the opposite thing, but I'm just going with my gut here and trying to get the best finished product that I can. So here's when I can really start to see how it's going to look at the end. The tiger stripes that you see there on the right side of the screen, that is close to what they're going to look like finished. Using some denatured alcohol just in certain spots to try to lighten the color a bit in the really darkish areas. Now after that has dried, right here I'm going to be putting some sanding sealer on, and you'll see it come back to life a little bit. This is a Scotch-Brite pad, or steel wool, quadruple 0 steel wool, and it's denibbing this after the sanding sealer. Next is the Axe abrasive paste. And rubbing it in and on, and then buffing it off. Really brings out a nice shine. My favorite part, the Axe polishing paste, now with carnauba wax. If you have not tried the new version of the polishing paste, please use my coupon code in the video description and try it out. It is, if you can believe it, even better than before. Look at those ripples. And nope, we're not done. We still have to hollow out the bowl and finish the inside. Every time I use a tenon, I don't get great balance, as you can see, or maybe you can see, I don't know. It's a little bit off balance. I did stop several times, which I didn't put in the video, but I stopped several times to try to balance this better and also to sharpen. If you watched my last video, you might remember that I shared my fundraising goal for the Walk to End Alzheimer's Disease, which I'm participating in on September 17th. I'm happy to report that I'm getting close to my fundraising goal of $2,500, but I still need your help. Here is a picture of the page, and the link to that page is in the video description. So check it out if you have a chance, and thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate it. Let's find a cure for Alzheimer's. Here is the view from above. Still working to hollowing out the bowl, changing tool rest to the interior curved tool rest. This tool rest is really a lifesaver for bowls like this. It's much safer, and I enjoy turning more because of it. This is the Carter & Son bowl gouge. I have 3 different sizes bowl gouges from Carter & Son. I have the 5/8, I have the 3/4, and the 1-inch. This one, I believe, that I just had was the 5/8. Actually, that might be the 3/4. It's hard to tell when it's moving. So I don't know about you, but when I'm bowl turning, I get a little bit picky about the interior shape of the bowl. I don't want it to be square. I want it to be round and smooth. So I obsess a little bit about that. Some 80 grit sandpaper to finish that smoothing process. I sanded up to 220 grit before applying this denatured alcohol, which is prior to the step of using the sanding sealer here. I can already tell that the grain from the inside is going to look really great. It has both the straight grain and the tiger stripe grain. The 400 grit sandpaper is to denib it after the sanding sealer dried. And then onto the Axe abrasive paste. Buffing off the abrasive paste, and then with the clean paper towel, coming back to make sure that that part is done, and then back to the Axe polishing paste with the Carnauba wax. Check out the link in the video description if you want to get yourself some Axe and save some money with my discount code. I mean, if this isn't proof, I don't know what is. Look at that before and after. It's amazing. And this is because I used a tenon. This is why I hate using a tenon, because when you're done turning the bowl, you're not really done turning the bowl. But then again, that's why these Longworth chucks are so handy. You don't have to get too creative and tape it on there and ruin the outside of the bowl, or get a jam chuck or vacuum chuck, which can be very expensive. Some people probably can make their own Longworth style chucks. This is my branding iron logo. I never get it quite perfect, but... So if you didn't already know, on September 17th, I am walking to end Alzheimer's disease. I am asking you for a small donation in support of this. I am less than $500 away from my fundraising goal of $2,500. So with your support, I know I can get there. This is a very important cause to me. I've worked in healthcare my entire career and worked with those with memory loss and their families. And it's something that I wish no one would experience. They call it the long goodbye for a reason. Alzheimer's needs a cure. And you can help me with that by donating. Even $5 will help. So I'm going to put the link down in the video description. Be sure to check it out, and thank you in advance. Here's the finished piece. Obviously this side has more figure in it, and I hope you learned something from watching the video on how to layer the dye, the stain. All the products I use I will link down below, so if you want to try the exact ones that I tried, they'll be listed down below. So thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next week, peace out, guys.